Hi, this is Bruce, and this is a PHP MySQL tutorial for Multimedia Presentations 2. So we've already completed some work creating a select so that we can select information from our database. And we created an insert form so we can insert information into our database. And then if we go back, and we should be able to see somewhere that we've got, there it is, Yogi the Bear right here as as an entry into our database. So what we want to do today is figure out how we can create a couple of pages in order to be able to update the information in our database. So you can see here in Sublime Text, we've got our select. Let me just delete this for now. So we've got our select, and we've got our includes, including our connect file to be able to connect to the database. After that, we've got our insert form file where we can insert information into the form, and we've got insert PHP that actually runs the query inserting the form information into the database. So what we want to do is we want to first of all create something where we can select the information and then link to a form where we can update the user information. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this select, and I'm going to name it update_select. And then what I want to do is to add a link to the results that will allow me to connect to an update page. So I'm going to add an href equals, and I'm going to use single quotes, and it will be update form.php, and we'll need to pass the ID number to that. Let me just turn on word wrap here. It'll make it a little easier to follow. So I've created a name value pair. I'm in the midst of creating a name value pair. So the ID will be equal to, and the ID result that we've received from the database. And then we've got to close the single quote, close the opening of the anchor tag, add what will appear in the anchor tag, and then close the anchor tag itself. And I think that looks kind of okay. So I'm going to upload the update select and come back here and link to it. And go back to my home page, refresh, click on update, and now you can see we've added an update button beside all the pages. And if we click on one, you can see it's taking me to the update form and passing the ID. This actually shouldn't be here. It's just there from when I was working on this earlier. So let's go back, and now we have to go and actually create that update form. So I'm going to start off with the, again, with the select. Actually, no, I'll start off with the insert form. So I'm going to duplicate it, and it will be update form. And then what we need to do is we need to add the select query so we can get the information for one particular user. And let me just turn on word wrap here for you. So we're going to get the, obviously select the information from the table, but this time where the ID is equal to the ID. And then we'll create that request. So ID is equal to just double check that I used ID in the link. Yeah, so there's the name of my value or variable, and I'm passing the information there, and then I'm going to pick it up here. So this is the information that I'm passing in the URL as a get, and then creating a variable here, and then saying that I'm going to make the going to get the information where the user ID equals the user ID. And we'll see if this works. Yeah, so you can see we're getting the information up top. So the query is working properly. And next thing I would like to do is to insert this information that we're getting from the database into the form itself. So we'll go back here to our form, and we're going to add a value and make the value equal to the name result and we'll finish that. Let me just resize this so you can see the whole thing. There we go. It's a little easier to read. So you can see right here in the value area, I've created a PHP echo where I'm echoing out the name result. And then because I'm lazy, I'm going to copy this and enter it into value equals, do the same thing here. And this will obviously be the email result. And it's a little different for text area. Instead of creating a value equals, we're just going to put it directly in, and again, let me resize this so you can see it a little bit easier. So we're going to put it into the text area link, and it will be message result. And save that and upload. And now you can see if I refresh, I'm getting the information populating into the form right here. So next thing we need to do is to create the actual update PHP that will take the form information and update it on the database. So let's go back here. I'm going to start off with the insert one. So I'm going to duplicate it, rename it update, and then I'm going to make sure that I'm getting the information. So you can see I've got the username, the user email, and the user message. I'm also going to need the user ID. So for this, I'm going to So you can see here I've created a user ID request. Actually, I should just be using ID. Let's do that. Oh, and almost created a user ID request. So we'll just call it ID, so it's the same as the one that we're using before. But then in my update form, I'm also going to need to add a hidden input. call it ID just like we did before, give it a name of ID as well, and set the value to be equal to ID result. Close the PHP, and there. So now we're also passing the ID as a hidden element, so that the person will not necessarily, so the person will not see it when they're filling out the form. And I'll just upload that. Okay, back to the update. So you can see here what I want to do is, instead of insert into, I'm going to update the table and I'm going to set, let me just get rid of the parentheses here. Table.username to be equal to some value that we're going to get, and then the table.user email will be equal to some value that we're also going to get, and table.user message will be equal to some value that we're going to get. And again, I'm going to turn on word wrap here. I really should make this make that the default. So table user message, where table ID equals some sort of, and then again, the information that we're going to get from the form. So here you can see I've got the username already being passed or bound. I've got the user email being bound. I've got the user message being bound. And now I've added a fourth element, which is the ID. And so I'm going to bind the ID that we're getting from the form through this request right here. And then we'll just change the data here, and I think we should be good. So let's upload this. And then, so testing, let's change this to September 8th, just so we can see. And if I, actually I'm going to have to refresh this, change it to September 8th, click Save Info, saved your message. So let's go back and see if we've got a September 8th. And there it is right there. September 8th, all updated and ready to go. So again, all this information can be found, or all the code, or something at least very similar to this code, can be found in my GitHub with using the update select, update form, and update files. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope this helps.